What if I told you that a three-legged shark in Nike sneakers, chanting nonsense in Italian, has become the foundation of modern folklore? This isn't a joke, it's the bizarre reality of Italian brainrot, a viral AI meme phenomenon taking over TikTok. But why is something so absurd capturing millions of imaginations? Stick around, because today we're diving into how nonsense becomes culture. In early 2025, an AI-generated clip of a three-legged shark in Nike sneakers chanting "Tralalero tralala" went viral, birthing the trend known as Italian brainrot. Within days, TikTok users spun the original into a full cast of absurd creatures: Bombardiro crocodilo, brr patapim, ballerina cappuccina, each introduced in glitchy Italian accented voiceovers. Discord servers and Instagram pages sprang up, where fans wove brainrot lore, sketching rivalries, backstories, and fan art. Classrooms became unexpected stages, as students whispered nonsense phrases and even disrupted lessons. Experts trace its appeal to post-ironic absurdism, memes so meaningless they forge community through shared chaos. For Gen Z and Gen Alpha, Italian brainrot is both a playful rebellion against polished content and an in-group marker that celebrates AI's unpredictable creativity. Yet critics decry its trivialization of Italian culture and worry about children repeating profanities out of context. Despite controversy, Italian brainrot illustrates digital folklore's new evolution, where centuries-old oral tales are now spun in minutes by AI. A dancing shark or cappuccino-headed ballerina may seem bizarre, but they remind us that in the social media age, culture can emerge from the most unlikely, AI-woven beginnings. After Tralalero Tralala went viral, TikTok flooded with bizarre successors. Each one stranger than the last, and somehow, even more viral. First came Bombardiro Crocodilo, a crocodile with jet engines, flying over pixelated landscapes while repeating, altitude critical, cannoli fuel depleted. No one knew if it was a war machine or a pastry mascot. Kids mimicked its flights at school. Fan merch appeared within days. Then, ballerina cappuccina spun onto screens, literally. A cappuccino-headed dancer, twirling endlessly to broken carnival music. "Dance or the milk curdles," she whispered. Her stare was blank, but haunting. Children repeated her rhymes. Cafes saw her face drawn in spilled foam. And then Chimpanzini Bananini. A chimp-faced banana bunch with fruit fingers, chanting nonsense like, "Swing from the peel, count to 3, if you miss, you sleep with bees." It made no sense. That was the point. Animators gave it boxing gloves and jazz solos. A bodega sold banana bouquets in its shape. Health officials shut it down. None of these made logical sense. And yet, they worked, because they followed dream logic. Like myths. Like folklore. Bombardiro didn't obey gravity. Ballerina's cup never spilled. Chimpanzini's fingers bent wrong, and we accepted it. Their design was playful, but the audio always hinted at something darker. That contrast, bright colors and creepy whispers, kept people watching, sharing, speculating. By March, fans had cataloged 17 of these brainrot beasts. A Discord server hit 40,000 members before splintering into fandoms, theories, even food chains. Some believed the characters were secretly connected. And just like that, viral nonsense became digital mythology. No official canon. Just AI fragments, remixed and reimagined by the crowd. These weren't just memes. They were stories, told in chaos. Most memes die fast. Remember the Harlem Shake? Gone in months. But Italian brainrot, that strange world of AI-generated characters, did something different. By spring 2025, it wasn't fading. It was evolving into a kind of digital folklore. What began as a three-legged shark in Nike sneakers became something deeper. On Discord, thousands debated character backstories like they were mythological figures. Fans claimed Bombardiro Crocodilo was a disgraced war hero. Ballerina Cappuccina became a milk-obsessed kidnapper. These weren't just jokes anymore, they were stories people believed in, or at least wanted to. Children who'd never seen the original video started chanting "BRR BRR Patapim" on playgrounds. Saying "cannoli fuel" became a social password. Teachers noticed students assigning themselves brainrot roles like characters in ancient myths. Psychologists compared the phenomenon to urban legends, like Bloody Mary or the Boogeyman, but on hyperspeed. It took Slender Man years to grow into a modern myth. Tralalero did it in weeks. Even merch reflected the shift. Teens wore chimpanzini bananini pins for good luck, tapping them before tests. Vendors said kids bought the merch not for laughs, but as something close to belief. Content farms, usually the death of a trend, made it bigger. Every copy added new layers, knockoff characters, twisted jingles, fake sequels. The nonsense expanded, not collapsed. By summer, researchers started calling it algorithmic folklore, stories shaped by memes, AI, and imagination. The chaos became the canvas. Because Italian Brainrot wasn't trying to sell anything. It offered nothing, and that emptiness invited people to fill it. In the end, that's how nonsense became culture, not by design, but because it left space for people to move in. Why does Italian Brainrot connect so deeply with younger audiences? Psychologists call it post-ironic absurdism, humor that thrives on randomness, not logic. Unlike traditional memes that rely on punchlines, Brainrot asks for nothing. Just strange creatures, nonsense phrases, and surreal energy. That's the appeal. For Gen Z, it's a break from everything structured. After long school days, tests, and algorithm-fed content, something meaningless feels refreshing. As one teen said, "I don't want to get the joke, I just want the shark with shoes." This isn't laziness, it's coping. In a world flooded with political takes, brand messages, and influencer content, absurdism offers space. It's not trying to sell anything or teach a lesson. It simply exists. That's what makes it powerful. Algorithms also fuel it. Because Brainrot defies content patterns, TikTok treats it like breaking news, pushing it to more users. The more unpredictable it is, the faster it spreads. There's rebellion, too. Gen Z grew up in a commercial internet. Absurdist characters like Ballerina Cappuccina don't play by those rules. Her creepy chants, dance or the milk curdles, aren't ads. They're nonsense. That makes them feel pure. Teachers even noticed neurodivergent students connecting with these memes. The randomness feels safer than sarcasm or subtle jokes. No hidden meanings, just weird, shared language. But brands can't fake it. When one tried to sponsor Bombardiro Crocodilo, fans pushed back hard. Authentic nonsense can't be monetized. That's the point. Even misunderstanding adds power. If an adult asks, "What's cannoli fuel?" teens laugh. The confusion becomes part of the lore. Absurdism works because it resists structure. It gives meaning through chaos. And in an age where everything is tracked, branded, or filtered, sometimes all you need is a shark in sneakers chanting gibberish. The raspy AI voice chanting, "Tralalero tralala," doesn't sound human, its perfect pronunciation but slightly off rhythm gives it an uncanny vibe. Unlike traditional folklore passed down and changed through human storytellers, Italian Brainrot uses glitchy AI narrators that mimic this evolving tradition. Most AI voices aim for perfection, but the glitches, mispronunciations, odd pauses, warped syllables, make these voices feel strangely alive, like a scratched vinyl record adding character. This parallels oral tradition, where stories shifted with each retelling. Creators remix AI voices, making them more feminine or unsettling, turning the original AI into a digital campfire for endless variations. The music, often classical opera or symphonic clips, heightens the surreal mix of human and machine, creating an effect both ancient and new. Though AI voices lack true creativity, their flaws inspire fans to invent meanings, regional dialects, secret codes, turning errors into storytelling prompts like oral history debates. Over time, repeated remixes standardized quirks, such as stressing certain syllables, evolving the meme organically. AI here becomes a collaborator with strange quirks it doesn't understand, shaping the folklore's texture. Without these glitches, Italian brainrot would feel like mere weird animation. The accidental poetry in lines like, spin on toes, count to 5, coffee spills stay alive, gains power through AI's cadence, impossible to replicate by human imitators, who sound forced. This tension, imperfect technology straining its limits, creates a sense of depth, making these creatures seem part digital artifact, part myth. Like ancient storytellers channeling spirits, voice algorithms channel the chaotic internet energy, transforming technical flaws into creative magic. Every culture creates monsters and myths. Greeks had hydras, medieval Europeans feared forest spirits, now we have sharks in sneakers chanting nonsense. While the forms change, the human need for shared myths stays constant. Traditional folklore explained nature and enforced social norms. Italian brainrot flips this, celebrating meaninglessness instead of order. Where old myths sought answers, these memes mock the search for meaning. Phrases like, dance or the milk curdles, aren't lessons but absurd ultimatums, yet people analyze them seriously. The social bonding works similarly to old folklore. Recognizing nonsense phrases like, chimpanzini bananini, or tralalero, signals group belonging. These memes act as cultural passwords in a fragmented world where traditional communities fade. Shared nonsense creates intimacy because it's meaningless to outsiders, providing a new form of tribal connection online. The unpredictability is key. Unlike algorithm-driven content, Italian brainrot memes can't be optimized or predicted, making engagement feel authentic rather than engineered. Adults often miss this, seeing it as silly trends rather than modern slang and in-jokes. Meaninglessness also offers relief. Ancient myths dealt with heavy themes, these memes offer absurdity without stakes, providing a break from constant crises. The myths spread fast, weeks instead of generations, and now have traits like variations, contested origins, and fan interpretations, proving the internet fuels folklore rather than kills it. We once explained lightning with gods, now it's sharks chanting nonsense. The stories got sillier, but our need to share them remains. Maybe nonsense thrives because the world feels senseless, or because stories, absurd or not, keep us connected. Future folklorists will have much to say about these three-legged sharks. Italian brainrot shows folklore never disappeared, it just adapted. That shark in sneakers proves myths don't need gods or morals to resonate. They just need people to care enough to keep retelling them. Next time you scroll past a bizarre meme, pause. Could this be someone's future mythology? The internet moves fast, but human nature doesn't. We'll always find ways to turn nonsense into shared culture. When you hear, tralalero tralala, echo through a schoolyard or spot bombardiro graffiti on a street corner, recognize what's happening. You're watching folklore evolve in real time, just with AI voices instead of oral storytellers. The campfire got smaller. The stories got weirder. But the magic stayed the same.